We're approaching the midpoint of the year and I've been watching a lot of wrestling. Scrolling on your screen now is my match of the year thread. It's where I catalogue every match I rate 3 3/4 stars or higher. A mixture of me being very easy to please and also checking out every match I see get buzz has led to a very long list. Too long. I fully expect to be judged for the length of that list. But because of the sheer amount of wrestling I watch, most of it isn't going to make it onto my year-end list. So today I'm going to stop, smell the roses and talk about some matches that I consider to be hidden gems from the last few months. Defining a hidden gem is annoying because some fans seem to take it as a challenge going, but I've seen that, therefore not hidden gems. So very quickly, I want to talk about my criteria for this list. If a match happened in New Japan, AEW or WWE, it doesn't meet the criteria to make it into the video. As they're the biggest wrestling companies in the world, it's very hard for them to have hidden gems. After that is based on how much hype I've seen for the match. For example, my current match of the year is Kento Miyahara vs Jake Lee. While that did happen in All Japan, which currently is quite a small promotion which no one really watches, that match got a lot of buzz, so it doesn't make it onto the list. Now this criteria is super subjective and I might be wrong. There might be a match on here that everyone raved about and I just missed the hype. I haven't scoured the ether for iPhone footage of a classic from Shinkiba First Ring that will never see the light of day. So if you're a fan like me who watches a bit of everything, there's a decent chance you would have seen a few of these matches. But I am fairly confident that if you're watching this list, there'll be something on this video that you haven't watched. And if not, I'm sorry. Also, I won't be mentioning any matches I've already mentioned in other videos. So basically, Mania Weekend and the Champion Carnival won't be covered here. Also, I haven't seen every match of 2021. I definitely have my blind spots when it comes to my fandom. I'm fairly new to the American Indies, so a lot of the matches that happened there this year will have flown under my radar. Lucha Libre is another massive blind spot for me. Even the big stuff that's happened in AAA or CMLL, I just haven't seen. And also on screen now are Japanese promotions I either don't watch a lot of or don't watch at all. There's so much wrestling, expecting one person to watch it all is fucking insane. But that being said, if you have any hidden gems, please let me know. I'm a crazy person and I'll probably watch them at some point. Okay, admin's out the way, we're going in chronological order, let's go. There's not really a through line in this match, they're kind of just hitting each other and bumping until one person falls down. It's the kind of easy to watch bomb fest that basically anyone can get into. It's not perfect, Tanaka does work over Tamura's leg at the start and that's a thread that doesn't really go anywhere, but past that, this match kind of just fucks. There's a point where they're holding each other's wrist and just forearming each other, and in a very primal way, I just adore that. It's also fast paced, they don't really stop moving for the duration, which for a man Tanaka's age is very impressive. There's a big splash through a table at the start of this match, and that kind of indicates the pace of a match going forward. Again, you won't find anything deeper here, this match is very surface level, but it's a very good surface. This match had one job, and that's to set up Abe's case for a title shot. And it did that, but it did it while being a really fun junior style tag match. Astronauts are a team I keep hearing about, but I still haven't checked them out. From what I understand, they mostly work in BJW, which is one of my major blind spots. I don't think I've ever seen a BJW match. I think I watched one for my 2000 project, but that's about it. It's something I'm going to have to rectify because they really impressed me here. There's a point where Nomura countered the sort of pendulum move from Hidaka and just slapped him. I love that shit. But beyond that, everything was tight, everything was crisp, everything had a purpose. This got overshadowed by the tag main event between Nextream and Violent Giants, and that makes complete sense, but it does mean this little gem's been left in the ether a bit. Everyone has time for a short 10-minute junior tag sprint. This is exactly what I'd want something like a Toru Yano title challenge to be. Shota uses a lot of sleight of hand. He isn't really one for throwing bombs, more quick roll-ups. Shooting for flash pins, trying to throw his opponent off guard. And it works. Look, in the grand scheme of DDT, Shota is a no-hoper. But the way this match was structured convinced me at a couple of points that he was going to beat Yuki Ueno. And as far as Yuki Ueno goes, he played his role perfectly. He came off as a champion despite being so young. Possible spoiler in my end of year list, if any title reign tops Ueno's for the Universal Championship, I will be surprised. Every single one of his matches are absolutely must see. Logically, Ueno was never going to lose the title to Shota, but they made you feel like it was going to happen. That's very hard to do. If you want to see a Toriano match played a bit more straight, then this might be your kind of match. The fact that this is probably the weakest of Yuki Ueno's reign goes to show how good it's been. Oh mate, yeah, gotta get that good D. Seedling is something new to my wrestling diet in 2021. It's an incredibly easy promotion to watch. They've only put on 9 shows all year, and if a show of theirs goes over 2 hours, that's an exception. And whilst I am a bit behind, every main event from Seedling ends up being worth watching. Here, we have the first Seedling main event of the year, and oh my god, it's so good. So good. Yoshiko is a fucking beast. She has a reputation, but oh my god, she's just a killer in this match. Best Friends, not those ones, are just really good as a tag team. And Arita Nakajima, people say she's the best in the world. I don't think I agree with that, but she's fucking good. And Sari, who turned out to be very good and then is also just signed to WWE. It's a shame because I'll never see her again. I'm not watching NXT just for her. What you have here is fast-paced and fluid. It doesn't let up from bell to bell. Everyone has great chemistry and not one of these women missed a beat. I highly recommend this one. This was on a single camera house show in front of maybe 150 people. They didn't need to go this fucking hard. After being blown away by their Korakuen Hall match, I found out that this happened. No one was buzzing on this match, but it's so good. Yusuke Okada is one of the breakout stars of this year for me. He's just so good and inventive. He sold his back really well here, and that tornado DDT, chef's kiss. And Ueno's Ueno, he just doesn't miss in big matches. There's not a ton to say here, aside from if you liked their match in Korakuen, you'll like this one. These two work stupidly well together. Fucking stupid, sexy Nakajima. Nakajima absolutely tortured Miyawaki here. At the start of the match, Miyawaki goes for a senton, misses and gets kicked, and that basically sets the pace of this match. I'm gonna try and do a thing, kick. Okay, well, if I try this thing, kick. Okay, what about this kick? Hey, stop kicking me, kick. I'm a simple man. I like kicks. So I like this match. Miyawaki's hook spots were really good. He has a really good tope suicida, and I bought in despite the fact I knew the results because the match happened 6 months ago. If you like Young Boy tries to keep up with veteran story, this is very much a match for you. And honestly, it's only 8 minutes long. If you like kicks, it's probably a match for you. I love when the wrestlers of Marvelous dip into Stardom because it gives me a chance to see them. I'm sure Marvelous is very good, but there's so much wrestling. There's actually just too much wrestling. I haven't seen a lot of Marvelous, okay? Shoot me. So I was delighted when Mei Suzuki jumped in for this match. She was a standout in the Marvelous vs Queen's Quest tag from last year, as well as having a really good match against Azumi for the high-speed title. And this is effectively a high-speed tag match. Not only do you have Mei, who is a high-speed standout in a different promotion, you also have Starlight Kid and Azumi, who are high-speed standouts in Stardom. And then Saya Iida's there, because Starlight needed a partner. That being said, Saya Iida did manage to keep up, which is very hard if you see how fast Azumi, Mei and Starlight move. Despite being extremely short, she was the muscle of this match. She's built like a fucking brick house. And the pace never letting up, competitors constantly going for quick wins because that's what high speed is all about. It's just a blast. It's not going to change your world, but it's just really fun. Ayato Yashida is just someone special. He first came onto my radar taking on Naonomura last year in All Japan, and he just has big star energy despite being somewhere like 2AW, which is fairly niche. And I know nothing about Taylor Adams, but he really impressed me in this match. This is one of those matches where you write down what happens and people might go, yeah, that probably just sounds okay. But the moves and what you come here for, it escalates perfectly. It's paced really well. With a single camera setup, I got fully invested in a match for a championship in a promotion I don't watch. But Yashida was my ace for the duration of this match. If you can make me pop for moves that are fairly commonplace, you've paced your match well. There was a DDT at the end of this match, and oof, it was great. I loved it. I don't know how happy Yashida is where he is, but I hope he goes somewhere bigger at some point so people can see how good he is. This match alone makes checking out 2AW worth it. This is a short but incredibly fun game of chess. It's easy to write off Impact as a fourth AEW show, and quite frankly, I've done that. But even when TNA was at its worst, the X division was almost always worth checking out. A lot of this match was spent in close range. They were grappling. Josh Alexander was making sure TJP wouldn't create distance, because that's when TJP can start hitting high-flying moves. But the grappling steadily escalated into bombs like kicks to the outside and just throwing yourself outside of a ring into your opponent. It's great. Alexander kept finding very creative ways to get TJP into the ankle lock, and I popped every time for it. TJP was trying to set up his splash for the finish for the whole match, so it actually felt cathartic when he hit the splash to win the match. I've heard really good things about their other matches, which includes a 60-minute Iron Man match. I might check that out. Don't hold your breath though. 60 minutes. I could do so much in 60 minutes. But at its length, this one is absolutely worth checking out. This is just a great, over-the-top grudge match. This match starts with a backdrop driver. Within the first 40-ish or so seconds, Troy is going for an armbar, which is her signature maneuver. Throughout this match, Evans was relentlessly going for Troy's leg, and for the most part, Troy sells it really well. She still does some running around, but she makes sure that she can't capitalize straight away after doing it. And a lot of times when she did have to run, she did it hobbling, like she was basically hopping. If there's one major criticism of this match, it's that Evans spent way too long setting up that chair structure. It kind of made sense. Troy couldn't get up because her leg was so destroyed, but I don't know, it kind of just destroyed the pacing in the middle. But then, oh man, that ending was so fucking cool. Troy like bangs spikes into Charlie Evans' head, and they just sit there. It's super fucking grim. Evans sticks up her middle finger because edgy. Evans stamps her hand into the thumbtacks that were on the ground from earlier in the match, locks her in an armbar, which then transitions to an armbar with this purple hand thing that Evans brought in with barbed wire around it. Evans bites the rope to try and get through the pain, but it doesn't work and she taps out. It's great. It's badass. It's one of my favourite finishes all year. This match is free on YouTube, so if you have a spare 20 minutes, absolutely go out your way to check it out. So, Eruption, Rule, Jun Akiyama is cool. Put them together. Happy Chris. This is basically a setup match for Higuchi's challenge for Akiyama's KOD championship. And the first bit of this match plays out like that. But then the headbutts start, which, you know, they're cool. You can actually hear them. That's disgusting. Anything else of note happen? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, Higuchi headbutts the fucking ring post. Jesus Christ, I could have sworn I saw the ring move. That's how fucking hard this headbutt on the ring post was. The match ends in a double count out, and I almost didn't care. I was just happy that everyone got out alive. What's weird, I almost feel like this match would be more talked about if it was on a B show. It was on a Korakuen Hall card that saw a really fun casket match between Brooks and Katsumata and the Yuki Ueno Yusuke Okada classic, so it kind of got lost in the shuffle in terms of hype. And to be honest, that's fair. I'm not going to lie to you, aside from the headbutts, there's not a ton in this match. At least that would warrant discussion over one of the matches of the year in Ueno vs Okada. But that headbutt hasn't left my mind. Sometimes I'll be eating cereal in the morning and just suddenly the thud from that headbutt comes back into my mind. Just gross, disgusting. I loved it. Hey, did y'all know I liked Ring of Honor? I didn't make a video about it or anything. I'm very mellow in my fan base of Ring of Honor. Anyway, this match rules. This was the go-home match going into their 19th anniversary show. This match started and very quickly descended into chaos, as is the LFI way. The Foundation attempt to keep everything honourable until they don't, because LFI have just pissed them off so much. Apart from Gresham, everyone here had a match against someone in the opposing team going into the pay-per-view, so there was a lot of heat to be had. It just bangs. Just go watch it. It's really fun. These two had one of the more underrated trilogies this year. At the start of the year, Josh Woods beat Dalton Castle in a Pure Rules match, and that sort of sent Dalton Castle in a spiral. He was struggling to find a place in the new Ring of Honor, and while he was saying, "Oh, I just have other stuff going on," it was very clearly affecting him. He managed to squeak by with a win against Woods in a rematch, but then Silas Young came back, and he was trying to convince Woods to get 2 men, 1 tag team back together. Woods kind of said yes, but also kind of shrugged him off because he was doing decent on his own. So Silas was his second coming into this match, in which Dalton said if he doesn't doesn't win, he's going to quit Ring of Honor. These two wrestled like they'd wrestled a lot over the past few months. Like, they kept countering each other very well. Woods is a very good grappler, and Dalton's very underrated when it comes to his in-ring stuff. Dalton wrestled like he was a man distracted. I think that's so cool. That's so hard to do. The turn with Silas was done really well. Woods refused to use a chair to finish off Silas, so then when he threw it out the ring, Silas hits Woods with the chair to turn on him, giving Castle the win. Castle gets his win. Woods now has beef with Silas. It's just natural booking. Not blow away by any means, but as the ending of a feud that was going on since the beginning of the year, I'm very satisfied with it. There's nothing deep here, nothing to talk about really. They just wailed on each other for 6 minutes. Not a second of downtime, and it just banged. They were positioned as equals. It was basically rock 'em sock 'em robots. Okay, it wasn't just strikes. There was some really good grappling at the start, but the strikes are the bulk of this, and oh, it was good. So good. The fuck do you want me to say? If it's not a ton of depth, it's 5 minutes. Just go watch it. If you listen to my podcast, you know how hard it is to review high-speed matches. They're just kind of running around doing cool shit and then they're over. Starlight Kid is probably my women's wrestler of the year. She is just so solid. She's improved so much. She used to have a weak-looking offense and kind of felt a bit like Riho, but that's completely gone now. She has a new attitude, and up against Nat Support, it worked really well. Pace is obviously fast. Neither woman puts a foot wrong. You're just in this zen state the whole time. It's like watching Sonic the Hedgehog versus Sonic the Hedgehog in Smash Brothers. Look, I don't have a lot to say about it, but believe me, it's better than the Izumi Nat Support match from Budokan. You should go check it out. From what I understand, TJPW Sakari Noah has an affinity for death matches. And hey, Rina Yamashita is known for death matches. She's in town. Let's have them fight. There's no real subtleties here. It's just pure indulgence, and I love it. There's a top rope driver through a table to the outside about halfway through this match, and yet somehow it still managed to find a way to escalate. From what I understand, Noah had never really done hardcore stuff before, but she took to it like a fish to water. She wasn't scared to take big bumps into stupid things. You know, like taking a power slam onto concrete. She also took some sick fucking chair shots, which she gave as good as she got. If you're a fan of Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, you'll probably really enjoy this. I hope Noah gets to do more hardcore stuff, because she's good at it and clearly really enjoys doing it. And I hope the subsection of weirdos who don't like women doing hardcore stuff find something better to complain about. Daniel Garcia and Lee Moriarty are two of my favourite wrestlers on the American Indies. Garcia is a fabulous heel. Sang his praises a lot in my favourite matches of Mania Weekend video, and it holds up. He's fucking great. And Lee Moriarty is so technically sound. He's just so good at being a wrestler. What we have here is a submission match where both men know their end goal and try very hard to work towards it. Because of a fairly intimate setting, all focus is on the in-ring work, and they're two of the best indie workers in the world, so it was great. This is worth a month of Internet Wrestling TV to watch, so I'm just going to tell you to go get Internet Wrestling TV and watch it and move on. Cop out maybe, but I think me describing what happens is going to ruin this a bit, so just go watch it. And then great news, you have Internet Wrestling TV for a month, so you can delve into the archives and watch more shit from these two, because they're both really good. This was Hiroshima versus Sakaguchi, but with a bit more of a narrative. Okada is young and trying to prove himself, and he's up against one of DDT's most tenured wrestlers in Yukio Sakaguchi. So Okada tries to go toe-to-toe with Sakaguchi, which he can't, and gets knocked the fuck out. It was such a gutsy performance from Okada. Like, trying to go blow for blow with Sakaguchi is hard. Ueno didn't even try it when he defended his title against Sakaguchi. He destroyed Sakaguchi's arm to specifically avoid that. So Okada trying to achieve that? Maybe it wasn't going to happen, bud. Maybe you were a bit too ambitious on this one. One day, Yusuke Okada is going to be a star. He understands that you can't just use the same formula for every wrestler. All his singles matches are very different, and it's a great thing to understand this early on in your career. Like, it's fucking 5 minutes long. Just watch it. Okay, seriously, these Ring of Honor 8-mans don't miss. Violence Unlimited is such a great collection of talent. You have Tony Deppin, who's just one of the best independent wrestlers going. You have Chris Dickinson, and if you want to know how good Dickinson is, go watch his Moxley match from Bloodsport. You have Homicide, who is a Ring of Honor legend. Everyone loves Homicide. And then Brody King, who is a fucking monster. This faction debuted at 19th anniversary and has quickly become one of the best parts of Ring of Honor. They exist in this middle ground between the Foundation and LFI. They're not out and out heels, but also they don't really care about the honor of wrestling, which is shown at the start of this match because they just spend the whole time pissing off the Foundation, who are all secretly hotheads. It's amazing. But it very quickly descends into a clusterfuck, just everyone trying to get moves in, desperately trying to get the win. The ending was great, with Jay Lethal going for a lethal injection, but again countered into a Psycho Driver. Amazing stuff. They maybe should have saved that one for the pay-per-view. This lays the groundwork for the Foundation's feud with Violence Unlimited very nicely. Lethal's going to face Brody King at Best in the World, and I'm hyped. That's going to be great. I tried very hard not to have this match be all pure matches, because every pure match, even if it's not great, it's always at least interesting. The wrestlers always throw in these dynamics. How they work within the rules is very different from wrestler to wrestler. For example, the Foundation will work to burn all of your rope breaks, setting you up to not have that in your arsenal deep into the match. And then you have Silas Young on the other side of the spectrum, who burns his own rope breaks. He uses them to exploit the ref breaking you apart so we can attack you. For example, there was a point in this match where Woods goes for a German onto the floor. Young shouts at the referee, "I'm holding onto the ropes, you have to let this go, this is a rope break." And the second the referee makes Woods let go of the hold, Silas Young takes advantage and hits a DDT on the apron. That's great. That's such an interesting use of your rope breaks. Young also takes advantage of the fact that Woods is a bit of a fucking idiot. Closed fist punches to the head are illegal under pure rules. If you hit one, you'll get a warning, and if you hit another one, you'll be disqualified. Young positioned a sleeper hold in a position where the referee couldn't see Woods' head and started punching him, which pissed Woods off, just leading him to punch him in the face. That's such sneaky bastard shit. I love it. This isn't to take away from Woods, who had some very creative ways of getting Silas into submissions, but Silas was just the best thing about this match. He's too good not to have a massive fan base. The finish here is great as well. Woods had Young locked in a leg lock, which Young couldn't get out of, and he had no rope break, so he had no choice but to tap. His tactics literally came back to bite him in the ass. Lovely stuff. Amazing stuff. This dynamic couldn't have happened under any other rule set. Pure Rules is just the best rule set in wrestling right now. Watch this and then watch every other Pure Rules match. I had to stop myself from making this rule set take up half this list. Please check this match out, because I'll be very surprised if you're disappointed. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far into the video. We recently passed 200 subs, which may not sound like a lot, but I assumed I'd only have like 5? So 200 is a lot. Wow, there's a lot of you. Is there any other hidden gems you'd have included on this list? Please let me know, because I probably watch them. Man, I watch too much wrestling. If you want to catch me elsewhere, I'm on a few podcasts. Podmania, where we're also now watching through Lucha Underground, which is really fun. Stardomcast, where we talk about Stardom. We don't talk about much. Actually, we talk about a lot else. Anything to avoid talking about that fucking Cinderella tournament. Also, there's a Pure Perspective where we talk about Ring of Honor, because why the fuck not? It's only another half an hour onto our week. If you want to talk to me, I'm on Twitter at ChrisLesPuro. Come talk wrestling. I tweet a lot about wrestling. There's also the Stardomcast Discord, which I'll also leave down below. And that's about it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you later on.